Hello, 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 thank you so much for joining me once again. My name is still Brian, this is still my channel, and today we are going to engage in the world of Shakespeare, kind of, a little bit. You may remember last time around, if you watch every episode that I post, which is hi ass. But last time around we did a gamer episode of Slay the Princess, which was very interesting, very engaging. Also got dark. So I thought, what better way of breaking up episodes of that than maybe getting a little bit goofy. So I don't know a whole lot about this. This is a game from like 10 years ago. It's probably one of the older ones we've done on this channel. But it was nice and cheap, which is important because, again, my game budget is not especially high. It looked goofy, has a bunch of choices that you can make, and is about a topic that I tend to know a little bit about. Shakespeare is just one of those categories that comes up in trivia a lot. I tend to know a lot. My friend Jane also had a big-time Hamlet phase. So it felt appropriate to do a little bit of this. I don't know a whole lot about it, but from what I can tell, you're basically just making a bunch of choices or decisions that impact the story. I have not seen this be played before, so we're gonna find out what it's like.
William Shakespeare, 1564 AD to whenever he died.
I think he died around 1616, something like that.
When writing his plays. Romeo and Juliet is pretty much lifted entirely from Arthur Brooks' poem,
That is true.
The History of Romulus and Juliet. Dude didn't even change the names. And as recent Shakespeare scholarship has established, the famed play William Shakespeare Presents Hamlet was
I can confirm at least his
inspiration
from a lot of other sources.
To Be or Not to Be is both the earliest recorded example
This
of
is
the
not
books as
one of
game
those
genre,
sources.
as well as the first instance ever in the then newish English language that was
The then
kicking around
newish.
of an adventure being chosen by you, the reader. We've gone ahead and added illustrations, plus we've taken the liberty of marking
that's
with
fun.
tiny York skulls the choices Shakespeare himself made when he plagiarized his book.
So
back in
basically,
olden
it'll
times.
tell us
They're there
what
in case you wish
decisions
to put
he
yourself in
made.
Shakespeare's shoes, reading this book as he did, stealing plot elements wholesale,
So we
and
can
classing up the language as
kind
he
of
/ you
divert from
/
that
go.
or go
However,
on the same
that is
path
not the
if
only
we
way to
want
read this book. Feel free to explore your other options, as each time you read this book, you can go on a different adventure, assuming you don't read the book like 3 quadrillion times, at which point the adventures will start to repeat.
I like how we just gave up
and
on
they'll
the
probably
numbers.
seem
3
pretty
quadrillion,
familiar
we're good.
long before then anyway. Now, take yourself back to history, when ghosts walked the earth and nobody knew velociraptors were even a thing. Steel yourself to experience the magic of Shakespeare as it was meant to be experienced, in a non-deterministic narrative structure, where you end up thinking maybe you made a wrong decision. So you mark the pages you were just on, so you can always go back and make a different choice if you die for something.
Nah, it's fine.
To be or not
If we
to be,
die, we die. It's part of the
that
story.
is the adventure. Choose your character.
Oh, choose your
Man,
character.
what if I just read the acknowledgements instead?
Vine North,
Whoa, slow down there, cowboy. At the end of that last bit, you were supposed to make a choice, and then
Okay,
jump
so that
to the
was
page
a
that
choice.
reflects that choice. Instead of following those instructions, you just kept reading what came next like this is an ordinary book. This book is crazy insane. How are you even acting like this is an ordinary book?
let's go!
You die without even having chosen your character. The end. And your final score is maybe learn to read books
Okay,
better
is that an
sometime.
achievement?
Out of 1,000.
So I'm trying to figure out like how to.
Dude, that's not a very good score. I gotta
Okay,
say.
so we don't need to like confirm our decisions at all. These are the choices. Okay, so we are going to choose a character. So I try to keep reading. Choosing your character is going to progress the story. Let's read the acknowledgements. No book comes together
No book
without
comes together without an author feeling like Thon's in debt to someone.
Thons.
Thanks to Metafilter for all the terrific advice on how to dispose of a body and not get caught. Spoiler alert, there are murders in this book. They have a page just about this, did you know that? They're one of the top search results for
I mean, you
how
can probably
to
just
dispose of a
Google that.
body.
You don't need Metafilter.
And I guess also thanks to the Canadian Security Intelligence Service for not getting me in trouble, yet. After I ran all those searches for how to dispose of a body, and I want to know how to get rid of a dead human body. And gross dead body, plus how to hide it.
Plus how to
And
hide.
what if I committed the murder act? How do I ditch the body and
It's
not go
an
to jail?
emergency.
It's an emergency. Thanks also to Chef
Google,
Michael
please
Smith,
help me.
Emily Horn, and William Shakespeare for the stew recipe.
Ooh, stew recipe.
Spoiler alert, you can learn to make stew in this book too. It's not murders all the time.
Oh, that's fun. We need to
For the
find
expansive
a way to
knowledge
take
of
the
boats
stew
and the
path.
seas in which they sail. Spoiler alert, play your cards right in this book, and you just might gain command of a pirate ship.
Oh, wow.
Just be cool.
I like
And
this.
for
This is
ripping me
really
off and making this
interesting.
book so famous. But which thank you applies to which person? That is for you to decide. Yes, even here in this acknowledgement parenthetical, it's up to you to choose your own adventure. But I mean, come on, it's pretty obvious. Thanks to all my artist friends who drew all these pretty pictures in the book. You've made death into a visually stunning treat, and thanks to Chrissy Calhoun for copy editing this book and fixing all my dumb mistakes. Any that remain, I added in afterwards because of brain problems. Finally, thanks to Joey Camo for his skills at chess, Ray Fox for his skills at Mad Libs, my extremely awesome wife Jen for being extremely
Thanks,
awesome,
Jen. We
and to my
appreciate
brother
you.
Victor, who confirmed over walkie-talkie that the idea for this book was rad. And thanks to you for buying this book, or at least picking it up and flipping to this page. That took
This is
initiative.
really
As a reward,
wild.
you get to
Okay.
continue enjoying reading this book. Okay, I'm
And
ready.
you know,
I will choose my
like I said,
character.
we'll play some more
No.
Slay the Princess at some
I'd
point. We're
rather
gonna
read
play
more
Kindergarten 3
acknowledgements.
as well. I keep wanting
You
to
know
play
what?
Detroit
I
Become
want to know
Human.
more about the author before I commit to anything.
It's just, you know, it'd be one of the pricier
You
books
know
that I
what?
got. And I'm trying
I want
to,
to be the
the
author before I
pricier
commit
games
to
that I got,
anything.
and I'm like want to keep it under like $20 per purchase. Let's see here. But this one, like I said, was nice and cheap, and it's a goofier one, so I like this. You know what? I want to be the author before I commit.
You are now Ryan North. This is weird. So listen, you just had the idea to write a book where you can play as Hamlet or Ophelia, or
Inhabit
even
the
ghost.
author's consciousness.
Right
Cool.
now, the book exists as mere potential. On one hand, you can make it happen, but it'll take months of
Don't
work.
worry, we're gonna get to the
On other
actual
hand,
story at
ideas are
some
like chess
point.
chairs.
I promise.
You have so many of them that it's hard to get attached to any one in particular. Plus, new ones are popping up all the time.
Please, look at this.
You
No
go
chest
skateboarding
hair.
and decide what to do.
I'm responsible.
You're getting mad
I
air
shave
while
my
pulling
chest
off
hair.
some insanely rad skateboard
Smooth
tricks
skin.
while also munching on pizza. And it hits you. Writing this book is something you want to do. You say goodbye to all the babes and go home to write. Almost a
All
year
the
later,
babes.
you write the last ending for the last version of reality you've chosen to put in this book. It's done. It's a pretty solid first draft. A few months after that, you've smushed it into a pretty solid second draft. And then months after that, a totally rad final draft. All that's left now is to do a final read over to make sure there are no typos, inconsistencies,
Or spelling errors.
or errors. You grab some snacks, sit down, and bring your draft so close to your face that you can't really see anything else. And then you start reading. These are the words you read.
I guess these are the words I read.
You have just been born. Congratulations, good work on that thing.
Hooray
Now,
for
surprise!
you!
Babies are boring, so we're gonna jump ahead in time to a point where you're an adult and you've already lived a bunch of your life. But I promise most of what we're skipping over was really dull. You ate a lot and slept a lot and made some friends, tears were shed, makeouts were totally had, etc. It was a bunch of high school stuff.
Oh, makeouts were had.
The
Wow,
awesome
what a
stuff.
life I've lived.
Starts now. So, let's begin, my friend. Remind me again who you are. Are you Ophelia? She's an awesome lady in her late 20s with a calm, competent, and resourceful demeanor. She's got a +1 bonus to science,
+1 to-
but she's also got a -1 weakness against water, so heads up. Hamlet? He's an emo teen in his early 30s. Also, he's the Prince of Denmark. Hamlet has a +1 resistance to magic, but there's no magic in this adventure, so this never gets
There's
mentioned
no
again
magic.
as
Oh,
of
well.
right now. Hamlet Sr.? He's the king of Denmark, 50 years old. He's super good at fighting and leading men into battle in naps. Let's say +1 to each? Look, bottom line, he's an unstoppable machine of death.
So,
And should you choose
but
to be him, you
Mr.
may experience
Hamlet, do we
kingly glory.
start as a ghost?
Play as
That's pretty
Ophelia.
much the only way we see him in the
Play
play.
as Hamlet.
Oh,
Play as Hamlet
interesting. So I was hoping to get like some more options, but we're going straight to the story. Let's go ahead. We'll take the canon option to start, and then we'll get goofy later.
You are Hamlet. You're 30 years
To be
old and
he.
you're back living at home. But it's okay, because your home is a castle. That's right, ladies.
I'm a
You're
prince, baby!
Things have been rough lately. You had been trying to focus on your studies at Wittenberg University,
Wittenberg?
where you and your
I don't even
bros,
remember that being part
Horatio
of the story. I don't
Rosencrantz
know.
and Guildenstern, all hang out. But you were called home because your father died. Then, your dead dad's brother, Claudius, married your
How
mom,
dare he.
Gertrude, 2 weeks later. Yep, it's made you kind of upset. You raced home to comfort her, but she's married your uncle, and that is weird. You feel
That is
weird.
a little bit weird.
Right now, you're in the audience
Like, the
chamber of your
premise to
father's
start
castle,
is like,
here in sunny
come
Denmark.
on, Gertrude, what are
King
you doing?
Claudius is here addressing his court. Laertes and Polonius
Gotta
are here
address
too.
that pickle of yours.
Laertes is kind of a jerk, and Polonius is his father. Polonius is also the father of Ophelia, whom you're totally sweet on. She's not here, though. Who knows what adventure she's having as we speak, while you're stuck in this drafty castle room listening to other people talk about their feelings. Speaking of speaking, just now Laertes says something about how now that Claudius is king, and he's attended the coronation, is it okay for him to go back to France? Claudius says,
And we
"Sure."
will never see Laertes
Wait a
again.
You'd love to leave too and go back to school, away from this weird incesty thing your mother's gotten herself into. It's so gross and weird. Ask Claudius for permission to go back to school. Hold your
Okay.
tongue and just wait around.
So, ask Claudius for permission or hold your tongue and just wait around. I'm gonna ask Claudius for permission. Wait, why do I need permission? I'm a prince. Come on. Oh well.
You hold up your hand and open your mouth, but before you can say anything, Claudius addresses you directly, calling
It's
you
been a
his
while
son.
since I've read the original.
On the one
Hamlet,
hand, that's
admittedly.
entirely appropriate, especially since he just married your mom like 2 weeks ago. But on the other hand, he has brought creepy uncle to new heights. Points for that, maybe? Insult him under your breath by saying you're more than kin, i.e., you're related more than once now as both father/son and uncle/nephew, but less than kind, i.e., this relationship you're in is unnatural.
I
In real
like
life, people think
how
of singers like this on the spot all the time, so this totally makes sense.
explaining the actual
Say,
context
"You're not my real
of
dad,"
some of these
And
quotes.
storm out of the room.
Like, kudos. First of all, kudos to you. What was your name? Brian North, I think. For actually, like, breaking down. One of those, like, really tough things, I think, especially if you read Shakespeare in high school, is you have to, like, bounce in between, like, the quotes and the explanations or something, or the explanations aren't sufficient. So this is really good. More than kin, but less than kind. In real life, people think up zingers like this on the spot all the time. It totally makes sense. Let's do the goofy option here. You're not my real dad!
While you're busy doing that, your friend Horatio bumps into you and tells you, A, he's in town for your dad's funeral/mom's wedding, and that they serve leftover appetizers from one at the other. B, ghosts are real. C, he's seen one and so have a bunch of other guys. D, it keeps showing up at the same time, and E, he's pretty sure it's the ghost of your dad.
Okay.
Finally, some adventure, some closure.
Yep, all of those
You
options
agree
are
that you'll come
canon.
with him tonight to see the
I
ghost
think.
when it shows up again. It's such an obvious decision that it kind of feels like you don't even have a choice in the matter. Agree to go with Horatio tonight to see the ghost when it shows up again.
It feels like you don't have a choice in the matter. I don't know. Something tells me I don't have a choice in the matter.
I'll be there, 11:30 sharp, you say, and Horatio leaves, satisfied. Well, now you have 8 hours to blow before it's time to meet ghosts. What do you
Alright,
want to
let's
do,
go make
Hamlet?
out with a bunch of people.
Be Ophelia for a while. Play solitaire.
Let's play solitaire. That sounds fun.
You, Hamlet, Prince of all Denmark, are now sitting in your bedroom and playing solitaire for hours and
I
hours
want to stick
and
to
hours
being
and hours,
Hamlet.
which is a pretty colossally useless waste of your time.
I
Especially
keep
since
cheating.
you keep cheating. A 5 goes
What's
on top
the
of
point?
a 3. Hamlet, really? Anyway, at this point, we're 15 games in, and wow, if you're not careful, people might start saying that your tragic flaw is, I don't know,
Nah, that'd be
inaction.
ridiculous.
Eventually the sun goes down, and
If
it's
there's
almost
one thing
11:30.
that Hamlet
Which hopefully you
is
remember
known
as the
for,
appointed
it's
hour
for
Horatio told you
making
about,
good
wherein a
prompt
ghost keeps showing up
decisions.
to bother him. Time to go meet that ghost, huh? Meet up with her.
Let's go meet that ghost.
You and Horatio go to where he saw the ghost the first time. Now we play the waiting game, says Horatio. He's interrupted by the sound of trumpets. You look at him and raise an eyebrow. They make that noise to warn everyone that King Claudius is getting wasted, he says. Those trumpets go off every night around this time. He sighs. Denmark, he says. At that exact moment, something insanely crazy happens. What the frig?
What the
I'll tell you
frig?
what the frig. A ghost is here.
Not a ghost!
Look,
Oh no!
ghost.
Let's look.
Don't freak out,
ghost.
but right now you're staring cold in the face of a specter.
Ooh.
You can't even imagine how crazy this whole situation is. If you're getting too scared, read this next clause over and over until you're not insane with fear anymore. Everything will be okay.
Who would have
Alright,
guessed that there would
okay,
be a
we can
ghost
do
in this play with
your last
a
shred of
ghost
sanity,
dad?
you quickly glance at the ghost, and then you worry that if you stare at the ghost too hard, your brain will realize it's looking at something so insanely impossible that you'll just black out. Anyway, this ghost. You can see through it, but only a little. It's weird. And I'll tell you what the frig else. This ghost does look like your dad, and he's getting closer.
It's almost as though this ghost is
Stare
played by
at
an
the ghost
actual
intently
person
and
that you
black out
can't
as your
really
mind
see
shuts
through.
down. Don't stare at the ghost too intently and try to figure out what it wants. Run away.
Ooh. I don't know. It feels kind of like 4th grade Goofy to just like run away and refuse the call to action. I want to stare at the ghost intently. I want to be like, hey ghost, what are you doing?
You stare at the ghost intently and your brain shuts down, and you collapse, unconscious. Surprise?
Ooh, I'm the ghost now.
You are
I
now
didn't
the
get a
ghost.
choice in that matter.
Before
Awesome.
you is the unconscious body of your son Hamlet. It looks like maybe he tripped too many balls. Yes, that's definitely what happened. There were a lot of balls
Alright, I
lying
guess I'm
around,
sticking
and
with,
Hamlet
King
tripped on
Hamlet
one
now.
too many of them. Maybe several. Bottom line, too many balls were definitely tripped. Right here. You expected more from your son than this. To be precise, you expected to be able to tell him that you were murdered by your brother.
Hey
and
Horatio,
that he should,
just let this
I
guy
don't
know that my brother
revenge
killed
your
me.
death. Instead,
Keep
you're
him up to
staring at a
date.
dude you can't even touch. You stick a finger inside Hamlet's head thinking that maybe if you can touch his brain, he'll wake up. But brains don't work that way, at least not with immaterial fingers made out of ectoplasm or whatever. And you don't make your fingers solid, which is good, because that definitely would have killed him.
Yeah.
Wait for him to wake up. See if there's anyone else you can tell about your murder.
Well, I mean, I was joking about telling Horatio, so let's just do that.
You look around and see Hamlet's friend Horatio nearby. He looks like he's freaking out. Hey, you say. Listen. Horatio, right?
Horatio.
Listen, don't freak out.
You say it in Danish.
He seems to freak out a little less. That's good. Hey, when Hamlet wakes
Literally,
up,
exactly.
can you tell him
what
my
I
own
was
brother murdered
saying.
me? You ask. Tell him I'm looking for a little revenge. Horatio nods meekly. If he doesn't want to do it, then I'll make sure to revenge you, Mr. Your Majesty's ghost, sir. Just sir is fine, you say, smiling in what you hope is a reassuring way. You look at Horatio for a moment. Well, great, you say. Perfect. Horatio looks at you. You look at him. He scuffs his feet a little. So,
Kind of an awkward moment of just like
I guess
standing
that's
around.
it, you say. With my unfinished work now, finished, I suppose it's time for me to die for real now.
Peace out.
You fade away in a shimmering light, certain that with Hamlet's intensity and Horatio's probable competence at actually achieving goals, you'll be revenged in no time. What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah,
right?
Horatio is
Exactly.
definitely competent.
This is
in
most
leading
assuredly
us.
100% solved for real. It's too bad you couldn't stick around to watch the revenging go down, but you don't make the rules. Hey, I guess you're about to find out who, if anyone, does. The end.
Is that it? It's time for the Hamlometer. Wild thing, hot stuff, to be. Not to be. I don't know. I don't know what this is worth. Your stat this adventure. 16 choices made. Times you were, and times you were not. All right. Use your limitless power to go on an all-new adventure. Let's restart from a checkpoint. Let's see if, yes, in which Hamlet meets his ghost dad. This time I'm gonna try running away. Let's see. Yes, take me to this.
Don't freak out, but right now you're staring cold in the face of a specter. You can't even imagine how crazy this whole situation
So
is.
you didn't even
If
get
you're
to like
getting too
switch back to
scared,
Hamlet.
read this next clause
Interesting.
over and over until you're not insane with fear anymore. Everything will be
so
okay.
da-da-da-da-da,
All
we've
right,
done this.
okay, we can do
Get
this.
through it. Run away!
You make a break for it, screaming like a little baby, and Horatio does the
I'm
same.
guessing that'll just be the end of the story.
Holy cow, holy cow, you say, jumping over a boulder and hiding behind it. Man, that was intense, Horatio says, a hand on his chest. You both sit for a moment, each trying to catch your breath. Hey, let's go back and see if he's still there, Horatio says. Go back and check out the ghost again.
I mean, so the question is just asking me why, so I don't know why here, but, you know.
Don't freak out, but right now you're staring cold in the face of a specter.
Okay, we've done this.
You can't even imagine how crazy this whole situation is. If you're getting too scared, read this next clause over
So it's the
and over
same
until
options
you're not insane
again.
with fear.
I'm gonna just burn through the
Everything will be
runaway
okay.
option and just see if it
You
does
make a
anything
break for
different.
it, screaming like a little
Holy
baby.
cow, holy cow, holy
Horatio
cow, that
does
was
the
intense.
same.
Let's go back.
Holy cow, holy cow,
Okay, so it's just gonna.
Don't freak out, but
do the
right
same
now you're
thing,
staring
apparently.
cold in the face of a
It may
specter.
do something different
can't
if
even
you keep
imagine
it and
how
run
crazy
away,
this
but
whole
I don't want to
situation
find.
is.
I
If
don't
you're getting
particularly
too
care to
scared,
find
read
out.
this
So
next
let's
clause.
take the last option.
Are you my dad? I mean, my ghost dad? You ask the ghost, but it says nothing. Instead, the ghost beckons to you. He clearly wants you to follow him and leave Horatio behind. I don't know. Is this safe? Can ghosts kill people? Can ghosts kill people? You ask Horatio. I don't know, man, but I really don't think you should be alone with that
Leaving
thing.
no ball
he says,
untripped.
clearly leaving no ball untripped in his own freakout. Hamlet, man, something is rotten in the state of Denmark. I gotta say, he yells, his quivering finger
Something's
pointing
rotten,
at
my
the ghost.
dude.
Well,
Don't know what to tell ya.
I'm gonna do it, you say, and you follow the ghost into darkness. Go on to say, by that I mean, I'm going to take this last chance to run for it.
I like that idea, but I feel like it'll just put us in a similar position, so let's just follow the ghost.
You follow the ghost into the mist. After walking for what seems like forever, you get tired of walking. I'm tired of walking, you say. You sit down. Pretty sure I'm done walking. Yeah, I'm out. The ghost stops and speaks to you for the first time, its voice issuing forth from lungs that no longer breathe air.
Hamlet, it is I, your father. Look, I can't stay around here forever, so you need to listen to what I tell you. I didn't die of old age.
I did some digging
some
around.
digging
I
around,
didn't
and it turns out I
know
was
at
murdered
first who killed
by
me, but I did
Claudius.
some digging.
You gasp, shocked and enraged, killed by his own brother.
He did it while I slept. I was walking in a garden, and you know how gardens are really boring, right?
Yeah.
You nod. They're boring even for people who like them,
Exactly,
says Ghost Dad.
Well, it
Is
was
this
so
canon?
boring I fell asleep. And while I was
Poison in the
sleeping, he
ear?
poured poison in my ear.
I didn't know poisons work that way, you say.
That's what I said.
Shouts
That's
your
what
dad,
I
throwing
said.
his hands above his head in frustration. He starts to pace back and forth.
Anyway, I want you to take revenge on him for me. I don't know. Cuss him out or something.
Cuss him out or
Pull out
something.
his chair when he's about to sit down. Offer him a high five, but then when he goes to high five you, pull your hand away and say, too slow. Or should he offer you a
I
high
mean-
five, you must leave him hanging.
I could murder him.
No,
You
no,
offer.
let's go back to this high five
After all,
option. Tell me
he is
more about
sleeping
that.
with Mom. Your dad stops pacing and stares at you.
He's what?
Tell him
What?
they got married 2 weeks after the funeral. Tell him, ha, you were just kidding.
You know what? Let's tell him, haha, you were just kidding. Let's see where this goes.
Just kidding? You say.
Oh, phew,
Says your dad.
that's good. If that had been the case, then I would have demanded that you murder Claudius at once. That way, he could be a ghost too, and I could sit down
Yeah,
with
I
him
don't
and
know
ask
what's
him
going
why he
through,
thought what he did was
Claudius and
appropriate.
Gertrude's minds
And after
here.
hearing his reasons, hopefully we could come to some understanding.
He sighs wistfully.
It would be nice to be able to do that now, rather than having to wait until decades from now when he dies of natural causes.
Good news, you say.
Okay, so I don't get a choice here.
Tell Dad
Dad
they
has
did
to know
actually
they
get
got
married.
married.
You say they got married basically right after the funeral, and that makes Claudius king now. You
The
explain
timing
how
alone
maybe it's
feels
not
squicky.
technically
I love that
incest,
word.
but the timing alone sure feels squicky.
Didn't he ever read the table of kindred and affinity, wherein whosoever are related are forbidden in scripture and are laws to marry together?
Asks your dad.
Is that a real thing?
Ah, you say. You refer to the document Queen Elizabeth ordered produced, which says a marriage
It's
such
not
as this
just
one we're
squeaky.
discussing
I'm
is
looking
not
this
just
up while he's
squeaky,
narrating.
but a
Table of
real-life
kindred and
hardcore sin
affinity.
against God. A book which later made its way into the Book of Common Prayer, itself so influential that we take many phrases such as
Yeah, apparently it's a
till
real
death do
thing.
us part
Interesting.
and peace in our time from it.
The very same.
Nods your father.
Although I can imagine that in the future,
Later
sentiments
maybe-
might change as to whether or not such a marriage between genetically unrelated, loving, and consenting adults is among the very worst things that is possible for a human being to do, that's not necessary for us to discuss right now.
You agree,
Anyway,
says your dad.
kill Claudius for me. Cool?
Oh, okay.
Promise a ghost you'll commit murder. Promise a ghost you'll commit murder in the classiest verse you can come up with.
I mean, if we're gonna promise the ghost, we're going to do it in a classy way, right? Come on.
You clear your throat, hold one hand open in the air in front of you, and promise a ghost that you will kill an alive human. This
Just
is
do
what
it
you
with
say.
like your pinky out.
Yea, from the table of my memory, I'll wipe away all trivial fond records, all saws of books, all forms, all pressures past. That youth and observation copied there, and thy commandment all alone shall live, within the book and volume of my brain, unmixed with baser matter. Yes, by heaven. Your ghost dad seems pretty cool with that. You have begun quest, kill Claudius. It's worth
So basically it's
3,500
saying-
experience points.
It's
That's a
me
lot.
telling you, like, I
Leave
am
it there and
going
return to
to
Horatio.
make my
Throw in a
sole
little
purpose
sexism
and
for good
mission
measure.
in life to kill Claudius. It will not mix with anything. I will stay single-minded on this. Throw in a little sexism for good measure. I'm kind of tempted. Do I get an achievement for sexism? I forget what they say. I'm gonna say let's throw in some sexism just because I forget what they actually say at this point in the play.
Oh, most pernicious woman, you add, insulting not only Queen Gertrude, the woman your father adored,
Oh no,
loved, and married,
I'm fine saying
but
she's a
also
pernicious woman.
all women in general. Science Corner. Synonyms for pernicious
That is true.
include noxious and pestilent, and the word itself suggests that long-term harm comes from being in contact with whatever it's being used to describe. Stay
I like this
classy,
like
Hamlet.
educational moment. That's really cool.
Leave it there and return to her. You walk back to where Horatio is waiting for you. Listen, Horatio. Never speak of this whole "we totally saw a ghost" thing, okay? We've got to keep it a secret. That's cool, says Horatio. No, I'm serious, man, you say, grabbing his shoulders. Some really serious stuff is going to go down, and I need you to keep this a secret. Swear that you'll never talk about this. I swear, says Horatio.
Pinky swear.
Swear
Come
it.
on.
Booms your dad's voice out of nowhere. He already did, you shout. Horatio looks at you questioning. Hamlet, bro, what's this all about? He says. There are more things in heaven and earth,
When
Horatio.
you're dreamt of in
you
your
begin.
philosophy. Yeah.
And are dreamt of in my philosophy, Horatio finishes, annoyed. Fine. Right, whatever. Okay. Horatio will keep your secret, and you've got a quest from a ghost to fulfill. And at the end, he'll probably give you some cool loot for completing it.
Alright, I'm
Maybe?
good with that.
I mean, it's possible. Anyway, it's past midnight, and Claudius is
Let's just
probably
go kill
falling down
Claudius.
drunk.
Sounds
What
pretty
now?
straightforward.
Say goodbye to Horatio and go kill Claudius. Go home for nappy times.
Ooh, nappy times. I'm guessing this will be a checkpoint where we can make a different decision, but I'm going to do exactly what I said I was going to do, and I'm going to go kill Claudius. Let's go.
You wait until it's 2 a.m., planning to sneak into Claudius's room and give him the old stabby stab. But on your way there, you find him passed out in the hallway. There's a bottle of booze in his hand. He really is a cartoon drunk. This is going to be real easy. You hold your hand over his mouth so he can't scream and slit his throat and he's dead within the minute.
Awesome. Cool.
Ta-da! You leave quietly, making sure not to be seen, and head down to the shore to wash your blood-soaked hands and your blood-soaked clothes. The ocean water cleans off the blood quickly, which is great because you heard it was hard to get out damn blood spots. Turns out, nope,
Little
it's
bit
actually
best
really
reference
easy.
in there for ya.
You're glad you stayed cool and rational and didn't freak out at all during this process. Good job, champ. You walk home in your wet clothes, change into adorable pajamas, get into bed, and fall asleep. Content in the knowledge that you were right to murder a dude, and that you even had supernatural forces on your side, your dreams are generally peaceful. There's some sex stuff in there too, but whatever, man, it happens. Don't even worry about it, it's honestly not a big deal. In the morning, you act super surprised that Claudius got
What?
killed to death. What? You say,
No!
waving your hands in the air. Come to think of it, that was probably a little
Claudius
much,
is
but everyone
dead,
bought it,
you
so
say?
and then later you become king. And check it. Your economic policies are both wise and fair, and your country becomes way prosperous. Due to economics not
And now
being a
your mom
zero-sum
wants to
game,
marry
you not only make the
instead.
lives of your subjects better, but you actually improve the lives of those they trade with too. Hamlet, you've literally made the world a better place.
Yay!
Nice. And all you had to do was kill a human being. The end. P.S. Oh, I meant to mention it sooner, but one day you step on a butterfly that has the cascade effect of preventing not one, but 2 worldwide wars from occurring, centuries down the line. So, good job all around, I'd say.
Best of all possible
Keep on
endings
killing
here.
everyone who interferes with your preferred version of history, I'd say. Congratulations, you were really terrific at being Hamlet. The end. For real this time.
Alright, sweet. Like the little illustrations here. What? Are we gonna get that meter? The Hamlometer, let's go! It's gotta be to be, right? We were very to be there. Not to be? What on earth? What are you talking about? Alright, your stats this adventure. 1 poison misused, 12 choices made, 1 time you were, 0 times you were not, 0 bears married, 0... Well, yeah, I mean, they tell you neither a borrower nor a lender be, so we can do neither of those things. Alright, let's restart from a checkpoint. So, I believe in which you choose... Wow, so we're gonna have to burn through a lot of this. Okay. Restart from the beginning. In which Hamlet meets his ghost dad. Alright, we're gonna burn through as
Don't
much as we
freak out,
can.
but right
here.
now you're
So,
staring
Spectre,
cold in the
yay!
face of a Spectre.
We know
You can't
we're
even...
gonna go try
Are you my
to
dad?
talk to our
I mean,
ghost dad here.
Ghost dad?
Promise
You
him
asked the
that we're
ghost.
gonna commit murder, of course.
You follow the ghost into
You
the
don't
mist.
have to worry
After
about
walking
it.
for what seems like forever, you get tired of walking.
Gardens are
I'm tired
boring.
of
We all
walking,
know this.
You say. You sit down.
We are
Pretty
going
sure I'm done
to...
walking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. Your brother's
You say they
sleeping
got
with
married
my mom
basically right
now.
after the
What
funeral,
else?
and that makes Claudius king now.
Didn't he read
You
this
explain how
obscure
maybe it's not
16th
technically
century tome
incest,
that I
but
had
the
to look
timing
up
alone
IRL?
sure feels squicky.
Didn't he ever read the table
alright,
of kindred and
let's just promise it
affinity?
regularly
Where
this time.
You clear your throat, tilt your head, put on a
Double
grin, and
thumbs
give your
up.
dad
You
a
got
double
it, bro.
thumbs up. I promise I'ma kill him, you
I'ma
say.
kill him.
Your dad seems satisfied. You have begun quest kill
Alright, cool.
Claudius. It's worth
That was a new
3,500.
option. Let's
You
return to
walk back to where
Horatio. We
Horatio
don't
is
need to
waiting
add
for you.
any sexism
Listen,
to this.
Horatio. Never speak of this whole, we totally saw a ghost thing, okay?
Alright, so I believe
We've
we're
gotta
trying to
keep it
get
a
to the
secret.
nappy nap point,
That's
right?
cool, says Horatio. No,
Go home
I'm
for nappy time!
You go home and nap. The next morning it rains, so you don't leave your room. Then the next morning after that, the ground is all muddy, and you think maybe you'd leave footsteps that could be traced back to you. And anyway, long story short, several days have gone by and you haven't done a thing. To continue doing nothing for another several days, return to the top of this page and read it again. Well, enough's enough. Time to go murder Claudius. Go see Ophelia. She's smart. Maybe she has some ideas on how to commit some good murders.
Ooh, interesting. So if I do this Claudius murder, will it be the exact same thing that happened last time? I don't know. It is very interesting. Let's just take the murder Claudius option again.
You
We'll
wait
speed
until
through it
it's
if we
2
have
a.m.,
to.
planning to sneak into
Alright,
Claudius'
so it is
room
the
and give
same
him the old
option.
stabby stab.
Wonderful,
But on your
yay,
way
okay,
there, you find him
everyone's
passed out in
dead.
the hallway.
Let's go.
There's a bottle of booze in his
What?
hand.
The end,
He really
yay!
is
Alright,
a cartoon drunk. This is gonna
let's
be
go
real
ahead and
easy.
burn through that. We tried it. Okay, we napped one nap. That is 1 Rosencrantz and 1 Guildenstern. Okay, let's just start from a checkpoint. Once again, we're gonna go back to the ghost dad. Take me to that point.
Don't freak out, but right now you're staring
Spectre!
cold in the face of a Spectre. You can't even
Mediocre
imagine how
James
crazy
Bond
this whole
movie.
situation is. If you're
Let's
getting
see.
too
Don't
scared,
stare at
read...
those too intently.
Are you my dad? I mean,
Moving
the
on.
ghost dad? You ask the ghost.
Following the ghost.
You follow the ghost
It's time
into
for the
mist.
Hamlometer.
After walking for what seems like forever, you get tired of walking.
Let's see here.
I'm tired of walking, you say. You sit down.
He is
Pretty
what?
sure I'm done walking. You say they got married basically right after the funeral,
Okay, cool.
and that makes Claudius king now.
Etc.,
You explain how maybe it's not technically incest.
Promise to ghost, you'll commit murder. You
clear
got
your
it,
throat,
bro.
tilt
Or
your
dad,
head, put on
pops.
a grin, and give your dad a double thumbs up. I promise I'ma kill
Let's
him.
return to Horatio.
You walk back to where
and
Horatio
do
is
the nappy
waiting
nap.
for you. Listen, Horatio. Never speak of this whole, we totally saw a ghost thing, okay? We've got to keep it a secret. You go home and nap. The next morning it rained, so you
All
don't
right,
leave
so
your
we
room.
went home and napped. Now
Then the
we're
next
having another
morning after
choice.
that, the ground is all
Let's
muddy.
continue doing
and
nothing.
You go home and nap. The next morning it rains, so you don't leave your room. Then the next morning after that, the ground is all muddy, and you think maybe you'd leave footsteps that could be traced back to you. And anyway, long story short, several days have gone by and you haven't done
Let's
a
go.
thing. To continue doing nothing for another several days, return to the top of this page and read it again.
Let's just do
You
that
go
one more
home and
time.
nap.
I want to see
The next
if
morning
it
it rains, so you don't
does
leave your room.
anything different.
Then the next morning after that, the ground is...
Nope, not gonna do
You go
anything
home
different.
and
Always
nap.
the same thing.
The next morning it
All
rains,
right,
so you
I've
don't
napped
leave your
a
room.
bunch.
Then
Let's
the
go
next
see
morning
Ophelia.
You go down to Ophelia's place and knock on her door. Who is it? She calls. It's me, sweetie, you say, opening the door and stepping into her room. You haven't seen each other for a while. It's so great to see her. You run up and throw your arms around her and you kiss. It's just like old times. You hold her at arm's length and look into her eyes. Listen,
This
you
won't
say,
end badly at
and
all.
then you go murder Claudius. Go on to say, I need your help with something. Unbutton your jacket, foul your stockings, take your garters off and grab Ophelia by the wrist.
So go murder Claudius is probably just gonna give us the exact same option. I think every murder Claudius option, at least all the ones we've taken so far, have just been you give him the old stabby stab and get away with it. Which is good, but we're going for more of a story here. So let's go say I need your help with something.
You explain to her about your dad and the ghost, and how he wants you to murder Claudius. Ophelia looks at you for a long moment, and then she takes your hand. Sweetie, she says, I can tell that you think you saw those things, and for now, I'm going to believe you. But we need to gather evidence of this ghost and find out if he's credible. Even if he is a ghost, are we certain
No,
he's
he's
a
just
ghost of
a
your dad?
random ghost who
What
happens
if he's
to
a
look
ghost
a
of
lot
someone
like
else
my
who's
dad.
trying to
Like
mess
a
with you?
straight up
I
carbon
think you should
copy.
have some confirmation before you go around murdering people. What she says makes sense. She says the two of you can try to see the ghost again tonight. And if he does show up, you can figure out if he's really your dad or not. It sounds really nice. It sounds sane.
We
You
don't
agree
do
to go with her.
sane here.
In the meantime, she says, check out what I've been working on for you. It's alcohol in a glass flute. She looks at you for your reaction, and you're not sure what you're looking at. It measures temperature, she says. With this, you won't have to be too cold or too warm in different castle rooms, because we'll be able to see which ones are uncomfortable before we go in them. She's been working on this all by herself over the past several weeks, while you've been sitting alone in your room, moping.
She is pretty cool,
She's so
admittedly.
awesome. You love her more than ever.
I've been taking a
Go
lot
see
of
the
naps,
ghost
and
with
she's
her
actually
tonight.
been doing stuff. Alright, why? We're gonna go see the ghost with her.
Evening comes, and you lead Ophelia to the spot outside where you first saw the ghost. We have to wait till around midnight, you say. I think that's when he normally shows up. To pass the time, Ophelia suggests you play a storytelling game,
Oh,
where
that's
she says
fun.
one word of a story and you say the next word, and neither of you knows where the story will go. Once, she begins. Upon, you say. A, she says. Time,
Mattress.
you say.
Oh no.
There, she says.
Ophelia
What?
clearly has taken an
You
improv
say.
class or two.
A, she says.
We're gonna play Zip Zap Zop next.
Beautiful, you say, looking at her. She smiles. Prince, she replies, and you smile back. Who, you say. Wanted, she says.
I wonder how long this story's gonna go on.
You say. Kiss, she says. His girlfriend.
That's 2 words, come on.
That's cheating, she says, but you're already smooching.
Aww.
You begin to really get into making
Look,
out.
as much as I like making out, you
Make out for
you
a
don't
while.
have to cheat to do it. Come on. Alright, we're gonna make out for a while, that's fine.
You make out for what turns out to be quite a while. As the night is warm and the stars are stunning and there are no bugs here to bite any exposed flesh. And before you know it, you've totally made out as much as it's possible to totally make out.
I don't think we
Nice.
have. I think we could have
And you
made out
fall
more.
asleep in each other's arms. If ghosts exist, and if one really did show up, he certainly had the good grace to leave you alone for your makeouts.
You were both way
Also,
naked.
he was probably embarrassed. You were both way naked. The two of you return to the same spot the next evening, and the evenings after that. But it becomes more and more a date night, and less a specter from beyond the grave wants to get some murders done
That's
thing.
true.
King Claudius and Polonius are not exactly thrilled with the two of you being together. But on the flip side, any urges to commit regicide that were floating around have begun to fade too.
No, we need to
Though you
focus.
talk
We have a
about it
task.
often, the whole encounter with the ghost, if it really did happen, takes on the quality of a dream. Rather than do the long-distance thing again, you decide to move in together and get your own place here in Denmark. Together, the two of you work on finalizing the invention of the alcohol thermometer. It works. And even figure out the other half of it, a way to move heated air throughout a building.
Oh, awesome!
Congratulations, you invented central heating. It's an invention that all of
Another
Denmark
achievement.
wants, and most are willing to pay for. While it's not the largest, you do live in the most comfortable estate in the entire country, thanks to the heating money.
Something's awesome in the state
One
of Denmark.
bright summer day, as the two of you walk through the castle garden, you get down on one knee and say words to the effect of, "Sweetie, you're the most important person in my life, and I can't imagine ever living without you. I want to make you as happy as you make me every single day. Let's get married." You mean every word.
You don't
It's not
invite
the most
Claudius.
traditional proposal in the world, nor is it the most traditional wedding, but it's wonderful and beautiful and perfect. You're very happy. You don't invite Claudius to the wedding.
Okay, so Claudius
A few years
eventually...
later,
I mean, everybody
Claudius falls
eventually
ill with some
dies.
sort of lung disease, and his doctors are unable to treat it effectively.
But we're fine with Claudius
He passes
doing it.
away only a few months later, having never produced an heir. Shortly after, the two of you become the new king and queen of all of Denmark.
Your
Your
first,
first
child,
child, Alex, is born 5 months later, and you all live very happily ever after.
Rosencrantz,
The end.
Guildenstern, Alex. We're probably gonna end on kissable, right? That feels appropriate here. Nope, still not to be. Dang! What are we doing wrong? We're always not to be. Alright, let's see what our results are. Your stats this adventure. 1 nap. I napped a lot more times than that. Come on. 13 choices made. 1 time you were. 0 times you were not. 0 bears married. Alright, we're gonna restart from another checkpoint. We're gonna go back to the same point. And we are going to, I think the next decision that we
Don't
have
freak
to
out, but
make
right now you're staring
is,
cold in the face of a good
do
specter.
the, like,
You can't even imagine how crazy this whole
Shakespearean
situation-
recruiting Ophelia to help
Are you
out
my
or
dad?
whatever,
I mean,
whatever deal that doesn't
ghost
lead to
dad?
us making
You
out
ask the
every
ghost,
night for the
but it
next
says
3
nothing.
weeks or whatever.
Instead, the ghost You follow the ghost into the mist.
Alright,
After
moving
walking
on,
for what
following the
seems like
ghost,
forever,
talking
you
about
get tired of
gardens.
I'm tired of walking. You say. You sit down. Pretty
I wish
sure
there
I'm
was
done
another
walking.
checkpoint
Yeah.
that was like
Yeah, I know.
after
The ghost stops and
you
speaks
had
to you
this
for the
chat
first
with
time.
Ghost
Its
Dad
voice
here.
issue. You say they got married
Because there
basically
really
right after the
isn't
funeral, and that makes
any
Claudius
new
king now.
development
You explain how maybe it's not
that you can
technically
do in this
incest, but the
conversation.
timing alone. You
So
clear your
we
throat,
promised to go
tilt
to
your
Woman
head,
Murder,
put on a
we got
grin,
the
and
quest
give
to
your
kill
dad a double.
Claudius,
You walk back to where Horatio is waiting for you. Listen, Horatio. Never speak
and
of this
we are
whole
going
"we
to,
totally saw a ghost" thing.
Go
Okay.
for nappy time.
You go home and nap. The next morning it rains, so you
and
don't leave your room.
talk to
Then the next-
Ophelia.
You go down to Ophelia's place and knock on
And
her
what are
door.
we gonna do? We are
Wizard,
going to
she calls.
unbutton your jacket,
It's me,
foul your
sweetie,
stockings,
you say,
take your garters off,
opening
and
the door,
grab
stepping into
Ophelia
her
by the
room.
wrist.
Okay.
Okay.
You do that. Ophelia looks confused.
I
in this whole
have a
production.
flair for the
What's wrong,
dramatic.
Hamlet? She says, concerned. Why are you fouling your stockings? Tell her you don't know why you're doing that, apologize, and ask her to help with murdering your uncle. You know what? This is not going as well as I'd hoped. Tell Ophelia you don't know why you're wasting your time either. Excuse yourself and go murder Claudius.
Okay.
Continue holding her wrist and move your other hand to your forehead as if you might faint while staring at her intensely.
So I feel like these are the first 2 options are gonna lead to the same result, right? Or the same results we've already had. This one being you get married, this one being you kill Claudius and are otherwise fine. So we're gonna stick with this one.
These are some stellar choices you're making here, champ. Okay, you do the crazy things. Ophelia keeps staring at you in confusion. Finally, you sigh, as big as you can, 3 times in a row. What do these sighs mean? Ophelia doesn't know. I don't know, and neither do you. It's like you think you've saved your game earlier, so now you can just do stupid stuff without consequences.
I'm
But
fine
you
doing
can't
stupid
save a
stuff.
game
You
in
know
real
I'm fine
life,
doing
silly.
stupid stuff.
So now you've got to live with the consequences of these
Oh
choices.
no, 15 damage!
And here's one of those consequences. Ophelia's love for you has taken 15 damage. Lucky for you, she still loves you a whole
I
heck
need
of a
the
lot.
numbers. How much does she love
Eventually,
me?
you run out
Does
of
she love me
sighs and get up and
3,000?
leave. But rather than walking out of the room like
God,
a
that
regular
reference is
person,
6 years old
you
at
look
this
over your
point.
shoulder, lock eyes with her, and walk out of the room and around the corner without ever
I
breaking
guess you
that
would
eye
love me
contact.
2,985.
You're lucky you didn't walk into a wall. You know what? I think you've made enough choices for a while. Move over. I'm driving.
Oh, okay.
You decide to go see what Claudius is up to.
Okay, so I don't get to do anything else at this point, but I do still have to click on the option of you see what Claudius is up to.
So you walk in on your mom and fake dad as they're trying to run the country. But it turns out they were talking about you anyway. Polonius is there too. He's talking to you like you're touched in the head. Hey, he thinks you're crazy. Maybe that's because of all the dumb decisions you've been making.
I could have
So,
just murdered the
In
guy.
an effort to save this, we're going to assume that you were just pretending to be crazy. Because that way, all of this kind of makes sense, and nobody would ever suspect a crazy person
No,
of
of
committing a
course not.
murder, right? This is literally the best option we've got left. This is what you've reduced us to.
I've tried the other
You've
stuff.
gone back and rewritten the story so that, in your talk with Horatio, now you say, I might act crazy for a while. Just be cool.
Oh,
You
thanks
can
for
go
the
back and check. It's
backup.
totally there.
Narrator's my wingman.
Okay,
here.
so it turns out Polonius considers himself a master riddle master. And he's going to ask you 3 riddles to determine if you're sane or not.
Wait, hang on. Let's
Riddle the
see
first.
here. Back to the story, options, extras, checkpoints, exit. Sorry, I was just trying to see, like, if he rewrote the story. It
So
felt
you
like that
walk
was
in
like
on
the
your
best
mom and
option.
fake dad as they're trying to run the
But
country.
let's see here.
But it turns out they were talking about you anyway.
You can go back and check. It's totally
Polonius
there.
is there too. He's talking to you like you're touched in the head. Hey, he thinks you're crazy. Maybe that's
Okay, so it
because
turns
of
out
all the
Polonius
dumb
considers himself
decisions
a
you've
master
been
riddle
making.
master, and he's going to ask you 3 riddles to determine if you're
in
sane
an
or
effort
not.
to
Riddle
save
the first.
this, we're going
Do you
to
know who
assume
I
that you
am?
were just pretending to be crazy. Because that way, all of this kind of makes sense, and nobody
Alright,
would ever
I'm
suspect
just
a
going to
crazy
narrate
person of
because this
committing a
guy's lying.
murder.
Since you're now just
right?
acting crazy, this gets a
This
little
is
easier.
literally
Normally, I
the
give you
best
the choice
option we've
between a
got
reasonable
left.
and a crazy
This is
answer.
what you've reduced us to.
But I figure you just
Gone
want to
back
pick
and
the
rewritten the
reasonable one to
story
screw
so
things
that
up, and I
in
swear
your
to God
talk
there will
with
be a method to
Horatio,
your madness
now
if
you
it
say,
kills me.
I might act crazy for a while. Just be cool. You can go back and check. It's totally there. Okay.
Let's go back and
so
check.
You walk back to where Horatio is waiting for you.
Secret, secret.
Listen, Horatio, never
I
speak of this
swear.
whole me and a ghost thing,
Swear.
okay? We've got to keep
Oh,
it a
for
secret.
some reason I might act
That's
crazy for
cool,
a while, but it's
says
all an act, so
Horatio.
just be cool.
No, I'm
Yeah,
serious, man.
he's right.
You say, grabbing him by the shoulders. Some really serious stuff is gonna go.
Okay, fine, I get it. Thank you.
Okay, so it turns out Polonius considers himself a master riddle master. And he's going to ask you 3 riddles to determine if you're sane or not. Riddle the first. Do you know who I am? Since you're now just acting crazy, this gets a little easier. Normally, I'd give you the choice between a reasonable answer and a crazy answer, but I figure now you want to pick the reasonable one just to screw things up. And I swear to God there will be a method to your madness if it kills me. So here are your options. Say, I don't know who you are. Maybe you're a pimp?
Maybe you're a pimp, did you say?
I know you're looking for the option to say, yeah, you're Polonius. Here. But you know what? I like being in charge. Say, I don't know who you are. Maybe you're a pimp?
Alright, I guess we're gonna call him a pimp. Let's go.
You tell Polonius that you don't actually know who he is, but maybe he's a pimp. He doesn't get that you are, or rather that I am, rather cleverly trying to suggest that you suspect he's been trying
Yeah,
to mess
that's
with Ophelia
definitely
in
what
order
we're
to
doing
get to you.
here.
It goes entirely over his head. Anyway, he seems satisfied with your answer, which is great. Polonius puts to you his riddle the second. What have you been reading lately? He says.
I
Answer
guess
with the
we're
exact
gonna
words I
answer
want
with the
you to
exact
say.
words the narrator wants us to say. He's been a pretty
That's
good
right.
wingman.
Fall in line, baby. You haven't touched a book since you came home from university on funeral/wedding break. So you answer by making up a book you've been reading called Old Men Are Gross and Dumb. It's about how old men are gross and dumb. You conclude by saying that Polonius would be the same age as you if people age backwards. Oh, snap! Polonius agrees that this is probably the case. Finally, he challenges you with the final of his 3 riddles. Would you like to go for a walk outside?
Man, these riddles are pretty easy.
You say you'd like to go walk outside. Straight into your grave. It's that last bit of crazy that really sells it. Somehow, Polonius thinks you're actually saying something really significant about how we're all really dying from the moment we're born.
I was saying
He
something like
observes
that
that in
earlier.
madness, you're actually speaking the truth. Hey, your answers seem to have helped him reach the conclusion we wanted in regards to your sanity.
What was the
Polonius
quote?
says
It's
he'd
like,
better be
I am
going.
but mad
You say
north,
nothing would make you
northwest,
happier except if
when
you
the wind is
somehow
southerly,
literally died
southerly,
right
I can tell
now. And then you
a
motorboat your lips
hawk
and
from a
flick your index
handsaw.
finger over them, making a sound. Yep, he definitely thinks you're crazy. So, I hope you're happy. I have fixed this as best I can, and remember, we're just fate crazy now, okay? Okay, you can drive again. As Polonius leaves, your friends Rosencrantz and Guildenstern enter the room. What? You thought these guys were still back at university? This is awesome. Greet your friends with high fives. Greet your friends by slapping them on the back. Greet your friends with hugs all around.
Can I slap him on the butt?
Let's not get carried away. Just walk up, say hi, and ask them how it's going.
You know what? I'm a huggy kind of person. Let's hug him.
Hugs. Hugs for everyone, all at once. You're not really the hugging type, and
I
neither
am.
are they. But somehow, everything clicks. It works. It feels right. As the hug continues, you realize that it feels more than right. It actually feels terrific. This, my friend, is a hug for the ages. It lingers for a while longer, and when you all exit it, crazy grins on your faces.
Let's go!
You feel way better than you did going in. Your maximum stamina has been increased by 2 points.
Awesome. I don't know
Hug
what
them again,
the
more
numbers are
stamina.
otherwise, but sweet.
Ask them how they've been.
More stamina! Let's see if that works.
This time it's weird and uncomfortable.
Ah.
There's no other way to put it. It's awful. Your charisma has been reduced by 3 points.
Wah,
Oh well,
wah.
easy come, easy go. Ask Rosencrantz and Guildenstern how they've been.
I figured something like that would happen.
How
Oh well.
have you been, gentlemen? You say. I've been okay, except for, the nightmares. Anyway, what brings you here? They look at each other. What do you mean what brings us here? Why don't we instead talk about your, plans and motivations? Rosencrantz says. Your face falls. Man, you knew it. Claudius sent for them. They're here to spy on you.
Come on,
Oh,
guys.
really?
You're
Come on,
spying.
guys. Were you sent here to spy on me, you say? Well, yeah, Rosencrantz replies. Kinda? Frig, man, I knew it, you say. Look, I'll make it easy on you. I know I've been all emo lately and mopey, and even though we don't have the word for it yet, I'm pretty sure I'm what you'd call clinically depressed.
I feel like Hamlet has
That's
a
all.
few issues.
You
Clinical
sigh,
depression
and
is
then look at
definitely
them with
one
a
of
small
them.
smile. I guess I'm quite the piece of work, huh?
And
you say.
definite
Would
anxiety.
you care to explain that in more detail? Rosencrantz says. You reply, as a matter of fact, I would. No, man, didn't you hear? I'm clinically depressed.
No, man, shut up. You know what? I would. I'll tell you more.
You are inspired.
Are you trying to
clear
get me
your
to talk
throat
about
and hold
myself?
out one
Because
hand
if
in front of
so,
you.
I'll
You
happily
look
do so.
Rosencrantz and Guildenstern in the eyes, one after the other. What a piece of work is a man, you say,
How
choosing your
noble
words
in
and
reason,
punctuation
how infinite
carefully.
in faculty, yeah.
How noble in reason.
In
How
apprehension,
infinite
how
in
like a
faculty.
god. I know this.
In form
I know
and
this whole
moving, how
speech.
express and admirable. In action, how like an angel. In apprehension, how like a god. Your friends nod. Humans are pretty great. The beauty of the world.
What is this
The
quintessence
paragon
of
of,
dust?
animals. And yet, to me, what is this quintessence
Yeah, thank you for
of
interrupting me,
dust?
Guildenstern.
Man delights not me. You break
Gay!
off as Guildenstern interrupts you. Gay, he says. I said man delights
Not
not
me.
me, idiot, you say. Nor woman neither, though you seem to think. This time you're interrupted by Rosencrantz. Asexual,
I mean,
he says.
kind of.
You look at your friends. Anyway, whatever.
Neither
you
man
say.
nor woman.
I've been depressed, but it's great to see you guys. Homophobia and asexual phobia aside. Oh, hey, says Guildenstern, suddenly remembering something. We met an author on the boat
Author?
over. We invited her to come say hi. An author? This is really, really exciting. And who should walk through the door just as Guildenstern stops talking? Why, it's the very author they just mentioned. How perfect. Having her show up now keeps this narrative moving forward at a nice clip.
Yeah, we need to move
And
this
avoids any
narrative.
awkward downtime, where you'd otherwise all just sit around in a circle waiting for someone to show up and talk to you. Huh. Nicely done, narrator of this story, aka me.
Good job,
Talk
you.
to author.
Alright, let's talk to the author.
The three of you and the author get to talking.
Who's
and she's
this
really
author?
great. It turns out she's
there
Christina
we go.
Marlowe, the author of The Murder of Gonzago.
Oh, yeah.
The Adventures Being Chosen by
Christina
You
Marlowe.
story. Can you murder your brother Gonzago and then, playing as your dead brother's son, murder your usurping uncle? I sure hope so. Choose from over 300 different possible endings. It's one of your favorite books, and you tell her so, excitedly asking questions about characters and motivation, and how she did that thing with the choices. While the four of you talk, Polonius walks into the room and tries to work his way into the conversation. But whatever. Nobody here likes
What up,
him.
Polonius?
Christina doesn't make any attempt to include him, and that makes you love her even more. You start quoting your favorite passage to her. It's the bit from the back cover. And she takes over when you forget some of the words. It goes like this. You are still really mad that your dad was killed by his brother. You decide that you should murder him for revenge. And that, my friend, is a really good idea.
That's the bit from the back cover?
No, shout you, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern in unison. Christina smiles. Polonius mutters, this is boring. But nobody cares. Excellent. Then you sneak into his room at night and stab him in the neck. A huge fountain of blood erupts from his neck,
Not
under
in this
such pressure that it bursts through the ceiling and forms a glorious red geyser above the roof. Some kid walking by sees the geyser and says, whoa. And while he's saying the oh part of whoa, blood lands in his open mouth.
Oof.
It's so awesome. You have earned 1,000 points. And the whoa kid also earned 50 points. The three of you laugh and cheer and applaud, while Christina smiles politely and Polonius stands around with his arms crossed. Whatever.
I like how whoa is
spelled
spelled
here.
here. It's like,
He grumbles.
you don't know if you
Christina
spell
recited
it.
her book with such heartfelt
You don't know the
emotion that
correct
you
way to
actually
spell
feel
it, which
pretty
is
bad
without the
about
H
not
at the
murdering
end.
your own uncle yet.
So they
Wait a
figured
minute. That gives you
some
an
people
idea.
put the H at the end and they're wrong. Some
Go
people
murder your uncle.
put it in the second position
Instead of
and they're
murdering your
right.
uncle,
So I'll just
go
put it
grab
in
your
both
copy
and
of
cover
the
my
book.
bases.
Then you can get it signed, and then you can see if you can get Claudius to read it, and then if he chooses the murder your brother path, and then if he looks guilty, you'll know he did it even though a ghost already investigated it and told you he did.
Alright, so I'm assuming murder your uncle would, as always, be the same option. So instead of murdering your uncle, go grab your copy of the book. Then you can get it signed and see if you can get Claudius to read it. And if you choose the murder your brother path, and then if he looks guilty, you'll know he did it, even though a ghost already investigated and told you he did. That is true. The ghost
but one
straight
thing
up
at a
told
time,
me.
buddy. First, you go back to your room and get your copy of the book for Christina to sign, which she does. To Hamlet, best wishes. I hope you like to read
It's
these
almost
words
like
that I wrote on
indecision
a
is
piece
a
of
fatal
paper.
flaw.
Cheers, Christina,
Marsha.
she writes. Amazing. It's perfect. And now you've got the perfect book to entrap your uncle. You excuse yourself and go back to your room to flip through Gonzago again. You get absorbed in the adventure, and a few playthroughs later, you're convinced. It really is a great book. And it should work perfectly for your plan. Now all you need to do is find Claudius. I'm pretty sure he's in the royal court, dude. Go to the royal court. Nap for a while.
Let's nap for a while.
Okay, I mean, you are already in your room, so I guess that kind of makes sense. You decide
always
that it's
wanna
nap
get our
time,
nappy
prime
time
time. Lying in bed, you clear your throat and hold one hand up above you. Time for naps, hooray, hooray. Naps are great, that's what I say. You fall asleep and wake up the next day with the outline of Christina's book pressed into your face. Hey, bucko, looks
Hey,
like you
bucko.
slept through the whole afternoon, evening, and night.
Alright, guess we're going to the royal
You
court.
reach the room almost entirely out of breath. You try to speak, but all that comes out is moist, wheezy panting. Oh, hey, Hamlet, says Claudius, closing the book he was just reading. Your mom's here too, as are Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, and, well, basically the whole court, actually. It appears they've all gathered to watch Claudius read Christina's latest reader choice adventure, As You Choose It, subtitled, You Are Rosalind, and must decide who you want to marry. There's a court jester, but let's not be hasty.
Okay, so this
You
is
can
an
also
As You
just
Like It
totally
reference,
make out
I
with
think.
your cousin Celia instead. It appears you've missed the entire show. You want to read this book now instead? You say, offering up your signed Gonzago book. No, I'm good, says Claudius.
Nah, I'm good.
In fact, I think I'm done reading books for a very, very, very long time.
Alright, just stab
Oh,
him.
snap. Your whole plan is ruined. Get mad at yourself, but channel that emotion somewhere productive, like into killing Claudius like you told a ghost you would. Get mad at yourself for being such a screw-up. Go back to bed. Nap.
I'm tempted to do one of these. I have to do one of these. I'm really indecisive about which one. Let's go back and nap some more.
Okay. You get mad at yourself for being such a screw-up. Then you go back to bed. Then you nap. A good night's sleep and the quiet morning light help you reflect and take stock of things a bit better. You didn't do what you wanted to do yesterday, true, but really, all that means is that you failed to commit the act of murder against your stepfather,
/ uncle.
who's actually doing a pretty alright job of running the country. Maybe you could gather evidence of his crime and present it
Or
to
I
the
could
court,
just stab
should
him.
you, actually find evidence stronger than the hearsay of a ghost you met once. A ghost I met once, you think. Man, you do sound crazy. This whole thing is crazy. You decide to go back to school, focus on learning more, and try to put this whole thing behind you. You never find any evidence that your father died of anything other than a heart attack. You get on with your life, and it actually ends up being generally okay. And guess what? All's generally okay that ends generally okay. The end.
Okay. I'm trying to decide, do I want to do more story? I think we've gone through about enough story right now. So we'll see what this ends up. Oh, cold fish, that's a different thing. Game over, your stats misadventure. Nap 3. We took 3 naps, that's good. That's a good number. Stockings befouled 1. Yep, choice made 24. Time to war 1. Time to war not 0. Time played 0. So I think this is gonna be a good place to end for the day. Just because I know, we're approaching about an hour. These story-based games, especially like these goofy ones, they're good in shorter bursts, but I definitely don't want to like overdo it. So I will probably come back to this at some point. We'll probably, if we do, we will continue from this exact moment. Just restart from the checkpoint. Actually, let's see if there's an earlier checkpoint we can restart from. No, we would have to restart from the beginning anyway. So we'll get back to this point at some point, and then we also will be able to move on to like Ophelia and King Hamlet in case there's other options we can take as them. But I want to make sure that we have time to, multiple episodes to do that, and then we can like I said, kind of buffer the more serious stuff with kind of the goofy stuff if we want to. But in the meantime, thank you so much for watching. I really enjoyed this. I thought this was cool, just goofy enough to be like, here's some fun alternate paths you can take. I really liked that they introduced like explanations of like vocabulary, which of course I knew what the words meant, but it's still good that like they cared to explain it. And they also like explained what some of the like quotes and stuff meant, so I thought that was very cool too. So like I said, thank you for watching. If you have any comments or ideas or about games I should play next, or other thoughts about this, feel free to leave them in the comments as always. I'm always paying attention. Make sure you are liking, subscribing, sharing with friends and enemies. Keep an eye out, because there should be more of Slay the Princess, more or the beginning of Kindergarten 3, and potentially more of this or Trolley Problem game. So keep an eye out for those. Make sure that you are staying involved, staying engaged, most importantly that you are staying cool. I will see y'all next time, but for now, farewell!